Hey guys, good evening. I hope all of you are having a very wonderful day. It is me, Siva Prasad, again, bringing to you yet another small video on science and technology current affairs. So, as you know, we are doing a current affair roundup for the year of 2020. So, whatever is going to be relevant for the upcoming prelims and mains examination 2021, so those are going to be covered as a part of this particular series. All right. So, before starting, there is something very exciting that I would like to share with all of you. This is the concept of the Unacademy Combat. As I told you, it's our initiative at Unacademy to make learning as much fun as possible. So this happens to be the most competitive gamified UPSC civil services battle. Right, you have an opportunity to compete with thousands of learners like you in India's biggest fortnightly competition for UPSC civil services examination. So this is going to be held on every alternative Sundays. So on December 6th, it has already been held. The next one is scheduled for 20th of December 2020. The time is going to be 11 a.m. onwards. Right, let me just tell you about this concept of Unacademy Combat. So here you will see a lot of challenging questions that are curated by some of the best Unacademy educators we have. This is going to be super fast and it is fun. This also has real-time rankings, right? So you will be able to see, you will be able to make it to the leaderboard if you are good enough, right? So you have an opportunity to compete with some of the best aspirants across the country. Following this Unacademy Combat, you will also get a detailed video solution which will be conducted by one of the top Unacademy educators, right? So this is the thing: compete, crack, and conquer. So you will get a score. It's a live score. There are a lot of things that you can learn over here. For example, you have this concept of negative marking. So this will help you, uh, you know, tackle this accuracy aspect. Also, you can judge your accuracy levels, your speed, etc. There is this leaderboard. You will be able to see who amongst you aspirants are doing very well. Right, you will get to know your rank. You will see where you stand among the other aspirants. And as I told you, if you're good enough, you would be able to make it to this leaderboard and serve as a motivation and aspiration for the rest of the aspirants as well. You will get ratings. There are a lot of awards that you can unlock. There are these badges of honors, etc., that you can crack depending on your performance, right? So let me just explain the contest format. There are going to be 45 questions, 45 minutes, and it's going to be assigned for 60 questions. A total of 13 combats are being planned as a part of this initiative. It is going to be divided into 6 sections, right? There is going to be relative scoring. As I told you, this is a fortnightly contest. This is going to take place every alternate Sunday. So last Sunday, that is on 6th of December, we had a competition, which means the next Sunday, that is going to be next to next Sunday, that is going to be one fortnight, that's going to be 20th of December, you are going to see yet another Unacademy combat, right? And the best aspect, the most exciting aspect of this Unacademy Combat is that you get to compete with the best and also to win a lot of amazing prizes. Like you can win an Apple MacBook Air, or you can win an Apple iPad Mini, or you can win an Apple AirPod depending on your ranking, first rank, second rank, third rank. And also the top 100 rankers will also get a rupees 1000 Amazon worth of vouchers. Alright. So, as I told you, enroll now in this Unacademy Combat. All you have to do is you have to download the Unacademy Learning app. You have to sign in, and this is completely free of cost. You will not be expected to pay any amount of money upfront. So you can use my code, that is AKM Siva. This will help you unlock the entire package. Alright, so you don't have to pay anything anywhere. This is completely a free initiative. All you need is just my code AKM Siva. This will give you access to the UPSC Unacademy Summit. Alright. Okay, so let's now start with where we left off. As I told you, we were talking about current affairs relevant for the upcoming UPSC Civil Services examination. And as I told you, last 2 years current affairs is going to be relevant. So let's talk about this concept of sericin. This was in the news. What exactly is this? This is basically a silk protein. Alright, this is produced by the silkworms. Right, you know silkworms, right? The rearing of silkworm, it is called as sericulture. These are basically reared on these mulberry bushes, etc. Okay, that's what. Why do you grow silk? Why do you grow silkworms? For production of silk. Okay, sericin is basically a silk protein. This is known to possess. This is known to be possessed with an antioxidant and other medicinal properties. Okay, why is this sericin suddenly in the news? Why? Because recent investigation has proven that this silk protein, sericin, it is possessed with antioxidant and has a lot of medicinal properties. Okay, it could be used for a lot of medicinal purposes. These properties it depend upon amino acid composition and secondary metabolites of sericin. Not very important. It varies with the source of protein and is used for protection from oxidative damage, edema, erythema, sunburn, premature aging, wrinkling, and skin cancer. Alright, what kind of medicinal properties am I talking about? right? It depends on the source of protein. However, these are the various medicinal properties we see that sericin could be useful for. It could be useful for protection from oxidative damage, edema, erythema. These are basically reddishness that develops in the skin, etc. Sunburns, premature aging, wrinkling, skin cancer, etc. Here, for protection purposes, you can be using the sericin. Just one word, remember, it is associated with silk protein. Alright, this much if you remember, that should be enough for your prelims examination. Alright. Next is the concept of growing human organ in animals. Okay. Japan recently it gave permission to its scientists to grow human organs in animals. Alright. So why is this important? Remember, human organs are in great demand. This is one of the illegal trading in human organs. It happens to be one of the most lucrative and most profitable trade also. Right. So that's the reason you see a lot of kidnapped children, kidnapped people, etc. Their organs are harvested. Take it. The organs are in demand all over the world, right, for organ transplantation, etc. So, given the fact that they are in demand all over the world, and also even for research purposes, when we are conducting research, carrying out research, we need to work with these cells, etc. So then again, there's a demand, and it's not ethical for you to catch hold of a human being and do a lot of experiments for your research work. So along the same lines, we have this news where Japan it has given permission to its scientists. They are now allowed to grow human organs in animals. Okay, how is this done? Modified animal embryo. It is implanted with induced pluripotent stem cells. Alright, so there is a dedicated lecture by me on stem cells. I will be taking up this in one of my live classes. You can definitely check it out. I'll make sure that the link to my profile is available below this particular description video. Right, so there's this concept called as induced pluripotent stem cell. Alright, what do you mean by induced pluripotent stem cell? Let me just tell you. Simple idea. For example, let's say you catch hold of my skin cell. Alright, you catch hold of my skin stem cell. You convert this into something else. For example, you convert this into blood cell. Okay, this is called as induced pluripotent stem cell. So using this, what do you do? So you are going to have a modified animal embryo. It is implanted with an induced pluripotent stem cell. Alright, so the research involves generating animal embryos. For example, we are talking about mice, rats, or pigs. Okay, these lack a particular organ such as pancreas. The ultimate goal, remember, what are we trying to do? We are initially taking these lab animals, lab rats, mice, or pigs. They lack a particular organ. For example, let's say they lack these pancreas. We are trying to grow these organs in them. The ultimate objective why we are going to do this is to make human organs in animals. It can be transplanted into the people. Alright, for organ transplantation, etc., there's a huge demand for the organs. People have to wait for longer periods of time, for months and years. People are waiting for some organ donor. Okay, so that's the reason human organs are in demand all the time. Right, so that is what. So if we are able to grow these human organs in animals for organ transplantation, these animal grown human organs can be used. Okay, that's the reason behind why this has been approved by Japan. Some bioethicists, okay, there are definitely some ethical concerns about the possibility that human cells might stray beyond development of the targeted organ, travel to developing animal's brain, and potentially it might affect its cognition. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We are trying to grow human organs in animals. So a lot of bioethicists, people, there are obviously a lot of ethical questions. Some people have raised this question as to, this is for the humans you are doing. You are harvesting organs from the animals for the purpose of the humans. You are, unnecessarily torturing them. Okay, that's definitely an ethical point of view. At the same time, some people have also pointed out that in these animals, you are growing human organs. What is the guarantee that, some cells, they might not stray into the brains of these animals? In the animal's brain, and it might start affecting the cognition. The animals might start developing a consciousness, or sort of like a human level thinking, right? Their cognition might be impacted, right? This is one of the beliefs of the bioethicists. Okay, this is a serious concern that they are trying to raise. Nevertheless, remember, what do we have to take from this particular episode is that Japan has given the permission. Japan happens to be the recent country, it has given permission. Alright, from the ethics point of view, for your general studies paper 4, you can look into the ethical aspect of harvesting human organs in animals. Alright, for example, if we are a human being, at least it is possible for us to take permission before we engage in such kind of activities, etc. For example, I can voluntarily be a person on whom organs can be harvested. But in case of animals, we are not giving them the option, the permission. They are not giving them, they are not giving us permission. We are just forcing our will upon them. So those are the ethical points of view that you can investigate in these matters. Alright. Along the same lines, let's talk about another concept. It was in the news, that is called as omega-76. Alright. This is also something that is closer to my heart because it is developed by my fellow colleagues. It's a new antimicrobial protein. Okay, what do you mean by that? That means it promises to kill multi-drug resistant bacterium called as Acinetobacter baumannii. Alright, so there is this problem of multi-drug resistance. What do you mean by multi-drug resistance? Let's say you are suffering from a bacterial disease. Alright, so you are taking antibiotics. When you took antibiotics, you are getting cured. This is the objective of taking an antibiotic. Alright, but now what's happening is because of overconsumption of antibiotics, because the the bacteria etc. they have grown resistant, they have become more tolerant to these antibiotics. It is seen that you are suffering from a disease caused by a bacteria. You are taking in antibiotics. These antibiotics have no impact on the disease. It is not bringing down the symptoms. It is no longer a cure. Alright, why? Because the antibiotics are no longer effective because of multi-drug resistance. Okay, multi-drug resistance. So there is this multi-drug resistant bacterium called as Acinetobacter baumannii. So this omega-76, what is special about that is that this antimicrobial protein is capable of killing off this multi-drug resistant bacteria. Right? The bacteria is among those responsible for the most infections in hospitals and other healthcare settings, and it's fast becoming resistant to the available antibiotics. Why specifically are we focusing on this bacteria? Remember, this bacteria is known to be responsible for most of the infections that you get to see in hospitals and other healthcare settings. Also, this particular bacteria, it is seen that it is growing more and more resistant to these antibiotics. Alright? As you know, what is special about omega-76? Conventional drugs act by blocking specific pathway or processes in the bacterial cells. Thus, bacteria evolved to gain resistance against such drugs. While this antimicrobial peptide, it breaks the membrane of the bacteria, thus killing the bacteria. Alright, there is a specific way in which omega-76 is very different from how the conventional drugs act. Conventional drugs, what do? Is they block the specific pathway or the processes in a bacterial cell. For example, let's say this is a bacteria. Alright, this is a particular cell in my body. Let's say the way this bacteria attacks my body is by binding with the cell. Okay. I'm just giving you a random example. This is the pathway that this particular bacteria is taking to impact me, to affect me. Right? This is the process it is following to affect me. So conventional drugs, what do? They try to block this pathway. They try to stop this bacteria from taking this particular path. This is how they work. What is special about omega-76? Remember, they have this antimicrobial peptide. It breaks the membrane. Okay? This membrane of the bacteria is broken down and the bacteria is killed off. Right? This is how omega-76 is different from the conventional drugs that you get to see in the market. Okay? I hope you understand. Usually what are we doing? We are blocking the specific pathway. There is a specific pathway that the bacteria is following to be effective. Right? So you are usually blocking it. That's how the conventional drugs work. But in case of omega-76, it is breaking the membrane and it is killing off the bacteria. Alright? This is how it is. Omega-76 is very different from the conventional drugs. Alright? Just try to remember these names. Along the same lines, let me take up one small news item that was in the news. We have BT cotton. Alright? So along the same lines, you might have heard about BT brinjal, BT cotton, etc. Remember, BT cotton is the only genetically modified crop that is allowed to be grown in India. Alright, recently GEAC approved the, it gave a green signal for production of GM mustard, but as you know, it will ran into a lot of controversy and a lot of questions have been asked around the same in UPSC examinations. Along the same lines, we have something called as BT copy. Alright, this BT copy is a genetically modified crop. Okay, it's a GM crop. Alright, in the next chapter, maybe I can take about this concept of GM crops. Alright, so what is special about this BT copy? Nigeria has become the first country to approve for open cultivation of BT copy. Okay, this is a product of biotechnology. This is a genetically modified crop. Nigeria became the first country in the entire world to approve for the cultivation of BT copy. Okay, BT copy is most important crop in West African countries. Okay, but a pest, particularly pod borer, it has impacted their production. BT copy is known to be resistant to this pest. Okay, what is special about BT copy is that it is resistant to this pest called as pod borer. Pod borer, जो है, it is a pest. It is it is reducing the productivity of cowpeas in Nigeria and other African countries. Okay, so what have you done? You have come up with this BT copy. What is special about it? It is resistant to the pest. Okay, according to anti-BT copy group, BT copy faced opposition for years in Nigeria due to fears of adverse impact on it. Okay, let me just quickly give you what happens in this genetically modified crops. For example, you might have heard about this BT copy. Alright, this BT, it stands for something called as Bacillus thuringiensis. This is basically a soil bacterium. Alright. This Bacillus thuringiensis, which is a soil bacterium, it is known to generate a toxin. Alright. This toxin, okay, this chemical, this is a toxin that kills off cotton bollworms. Alright. So what happens is in India or anywhere else when you are growing cotton, these cotton bollworms जो है, they are a very big threat for the growth of cotton. They are reducing the yield of cotton crop. They are reducing the productivity of the cotton crop. Okay, they are eating off. So therefore, cotton production, cotton yield is significantly coming down. So we observed this soil bacterium called as Bacillus thuringiensis. There we saw that it has a small gene which is responsible for making this toxin. This toxin, when it is being consumed by cotton bollworms, it is being destroyed off. So therefore, what did we do? We took this gene from this bacterium, from the soil bacterium. We took this gene and we inserted into cotton. We added it to cotton. This is how we have Bt cotton. So therefore, in Bt cotton, you have an extra gene that doesn't belong to the cotton plant. It belongs to the soil bacterium. This particular gene is responsible for production of a toxin, right? This toxin, when it is consumed by cotton bollworms, etc., they are getting killed off. All right, this is what the similar thing has been done over here in making of Bt copy also. Okay, that's what, right? So it is resistant to the pest, just like our cotton crops, Bt cotton, are now resistant to cotton bollworms. Similarly, over here for the pod bearers, the Bt copy is resistant to the pest. All right. So just like in India, there are some anti-Bt crop groups over there also. So according to the Bt copy groups, they are saying Bt copy for a long period of time, it was facing opposition in Nigeria. Why? Because people felt that this could have an adverse impact on human health. Look at this. You are introducing a foreign gene. Okay. So how do you know that this toxin that is generated is not harmful for human beings? Take a cotton, chalo, theek hai. We are making cotton clothes only. We are not consuming it. In this case, this is copy. You are going to consume it, right? So हो सकता है this can have a significantly negative impact on your health. So that is what, because you are introducing a foreign gene, you don't know how the health might be impacted. So that is the reason for a long period of time people have opposed the introduction of Bt copy. Nevertheless, despite all that, Nigeria has become the first country to approve for open cultivation. Alright, it consists this transgene CRY1AB. Okay, this can be toxic for human liver cells and can also alter the immune system of the lab. Okay, so that's what. So just like I told you about this Bt, this gene that you have chosen, over here you have chosen this gene called as CRY1AB. Alright, this is a foreign gene. It has been introduced in the cowpea plant. So people are saying, anti-Bt cowpea people, they are saying that this gene could be harmful, could be toxic for human liver cells, and also it can compromise the immune system also. Okay, as per the experiments conducted, they saw that among the lab animals, it reflected an altered immune system. So people are scared. They are saying maybe Bt copy, consuming this Bt copy might be a threat for human liver cells, might also compromise the human immune system. Alright, it is believed that Ghana will also follow the same footsteps, and then it will also go and give approval for open cultivation of Bt copy. Alright, just remember the country is Nigeria. Alright, so let me stop here for now. In the next lesson, I will take up more current affair items like this. So stay tuned for awesome lessons. Thank you so much. Have a good day.